Hi guys, and welcome to the African Unite First. If this is your first time here, you're very much welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Now, if you want to be part of our offline meeting, Solution Code, where we talk about really very important issues that are affecting us as Black people globally, please go ahead and write me an email. Follow me on Instagram. The link will be in the description of this video. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so whenever I upload, you'll be notified. Now, today's topic is The Black Woman is God, Part 3. We've already covered Part 1, 2. So if you have not watched it, if you have not watched it, please go ahead and do so. All right. So a quick recap about Part 1 and 2. We talk about, ancient African women did not menstruate. Also, we talked about how women didn't need the sperm of a man to give birth. All right. But today we'll be covering the timing. All right. Today we'll be covering the timing because the planet and the world we're living is pretty much all about timing. All right. Everything happens within the confine of time. So the time for the Black woman to actually lead and come back to her place is actually now. Joining us today is a special guest, Brother Takunda Kwankwama. So I'm just going to bring him right in before we proceed. Hi, Brother
Hi,
Takunda. How are you doing?
doing good. Hello to the viewers, African
Right.
family. Uh,
Right. So we're talking about a whole lot of things, right? So we're talking about the timing. We're talking about the spell, because before we bring about the solution, you have to know about what went wrong and who you truly are as a person, right? As the God,
mhm,
because we have actually forgotten who we
mhm.
were. All right. So this will actually be focusing on remembering who you were. It's literally very important, right? So we're talking about knowing who you are, your true and original names, right? We talk about the Black man in his role. We also talk about restoration. We talk about, power, tears, the power of tears and all of that anger, our world and planet. And also we'll talk about our DNA and a lot of things, we'll be covering today. So, but before we go ahead, right, I would like Brother Takunda, please address the men in the chat room because these men are
Yeah,
writing these men are writing so much,
I know.
because they are like, if the Black woman is God, so what is the Black man? Is he a human? Who is he? They are like, some of them, they were like, okay, so the Black woman is the small God that has to do with the small G, you know, and the Black man has to do with the big God that has to do with the big G. So,
Um,
right. So
okay.
please address
Can you
that.
hear me?
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So actually, I know the men they might say the black woman, the melanated woman. He's a god. She's a god with a small g. No, she's a god with a big G. Okay, I'm gonna be explaining. Some of these things. This is what you have to say. Even these people who write movies, directors in the movies, in the Hollywood and everything, they know these things. What I've been researching now. When I was watching, I don't know. I think our viewers they might know the movie, the Moana movie. I'm just gonna put it out there. The Moana movie. So there was this god which is called Maui, and then there was the goddess, the creator of everything. The goddess was muscular, He could pull everything. He could pull the sun and everything. But the goddess, she was the one. She was the creator of all, the creator of everything, the creator of life, the fish, the ocean. So what they did, the goddess went and took the heart of Tifiti. When he took the heart of Tifiti, because this is the symbol of men, when the when especially like men, brothers, and who don't acknowledge the ranks. So when this goddess took the heart, that this god, the god with the man, she took the heart of Tifiti. The Tifiti became evil, became an evil goddess, and then after 1,000 years, there was now the fish was drying in the water, everything. There was chaos in the earth. In that, it's the movie. So it's similar like right now. You know, we took the god, the head, we put him in the bottom of a pyramid, and then we made ourselves the head. We made ourselves patriotic. We need to understand that the beings that helped also the men to manipulate this whole system, those beings, they are time travelers. I don't know how much knowledgeable you can be. Some of those beings, they are time travel, so they could able to see how to break us in this cosmos, in this global universe, in the cosmos. So they saw that if they put the melanated woman beneath the man, everything fall into chaos. I know the men, they are saying, no, the woman, she's a god with a small g. No. We need to understand that women, I think I said this before, women, they didn't need a man to procreate. They didn't need a man to procreate. They could able to procreate by themselves. It's a research that was done even in Harvard. No spirit, no demon, no angel sleeping with the woman. No angel, but just a woman deciding which, and also a woman, they were able to decide which sex of the child she could able to give birth. So, and also our African ancient ancestors, they prayed in the name of the mother, not in the name of the father or the son or the higher. No. They prayed in the name of the mother because they knew that the mother, she's the creator of all source. So I know we were raised up in such a system whereby we were told that Eve was taken out of a rib of a man, and then God made him out of, Aburakata, made him out. No. That story is a lie. You know why? Because even the Catholic themselves, the Romans themselves, the ones that they went around and compiled these ancient texts in secret. You go on the internet, I think if they didn't delete the pictures, you will see the pictures of them worshiping the Black Madonna in secret. They worship the Black Madonna in secret, even in Russia, even in Greece, even in Egypt. If you see that symbol of the scarab dung beetle, the scarab dung beetle, it's a symbol of a goddess, because the scarab dung beetle, it can lay eggs without a mate. When it has a mate, it will lay eggs and die. So I think this is the fact we need to swallow. I think, let me just say, our pride, because we need the energy of creation, which is the melanated, which is the feminine energy, because it made everything to become to being. It made the cosmos, it made the universe, it made everything to become being. But the creator of everything that is existing, she. So when we don't acknowledge, even nature doesn't obey. If I don't know, about elephants. Elephants, the female elephants, they're the ones that decide where the heads go. It's the one that decide where the heads go. I know, believe me, I was so much indoctrinated. I read that book. I read about I read about 80 something books of the Bible. Reading it, I think about 20 times. when I was researching this, I couldn't just grasp at the concept. But when I begin to research more, that's when I begin to say, whoa. And some of them, the mothers who are mothers here, you know, every time when my sister, when she's in problem, you know, women, black women especially, they have this thing. They say my birth area, it's in pain. Normally when the son or when the daughter, she's somewhere else overseas or she's somewhere else in another city, when the son maybe he's in problem, especially when I get in trouble, my mom could feel it at home. Like maybe thousands of kilometers, she could feel it through her womb. Through that energy of creation in him, she could feel, say, even when I don't tell him, say, Victor, there's something wrong. Say, no, there's nothing wrong. She could feel it. She could feel it naturally. So we need to accept these terms that our mothers, our melanated women, they are our gods. We need to swallow that pride. So this dramatization, I think you can go on Netflix and watch it. When the demigod took that heart of Tifiti, after 1,000 years, there was dry, the coconuts in the trees, the ocean, the fish, they were getting dry. This is you see now on the planet, people, they are raping the planet. We used to travel anywhere in the universe, anywhere in the cosmos, instantaneous like that. We didn't need cars, we didn't need planes. Look at now. The land is now being raped, it's being decimated because we don't know. We don't have those spiritual qualities, not academic qualities. You need to get me. Because a woman has a feminine energy. He creates life. Out of him creates life. The archibolent, the terrestrial, the earth, out of it, for it to bear trees, it's feminine. The ground is feminine. It can able to give birth to trees. We need to understand that we need to come to the realization that, because it's coming to a time whereby it's gonna be those who don't accept this concept. Actually, this is true. It's up to you. It's not a threat, but you're going to reincarnate and come back again, and it's like repeating and come back. We won't able to graduate to go to other cosmos because we are denying the truth that is in front of us. Time and ago. We can't continue doing this because our patriotic system, it's not helping us. Look at wars everywhere. Every day there's wars, there's chaos, because we don't have the energy of creation in us. It's not in our nature. We have that nature of take, win, have more wealth, have more this. We don't have the energy of preserving. You know, I love one day what Credo Mutwa said. He said, there is the warrior mind and the mother mind. You see, the mother mind, it cares. It cares for everybody. It cares what the kids are gonna eat. It cares about the universe. It cares about the soil. It cares about a lot. You see. So when this little girl, she was trying to restore Tifiti's heart, that's Moana. Even the father, the chief, he couldn't allow her daughter to go and restore the heart of Tifiti. But the little girl, she had to cross the ocean, and then she went and restore. Even when she met the demigod Maui, she couldn't.
Just to add a little about the Moana and her father, you know, when he was really resistant on letting the daughter to go in, because actually she was actually chosen, right? She was actually chosen by the gods to do that. Now the father was he was protecting his daughter, according to him, based on his past experiences, right? Based on his past experience that was quite unfortunate, right? He lost one of his best friends in the ocean, and then he didn't want that to repeat itself, because that happened. It's like, oh, you cannot go beyond this point. You cannot do this thing because something transpired in my life. In a very terrible way, or in a very tragic way, and he didn't want the daughter to actually repeat the same mistakes. And that is one of the mistakes most parents they do. The fact that you had your own experience and you had your own tragic experience does not mean that it's the same calling or is the same thing that is going to happen to your child, because every one of us, we have different experiences. So we must be able to graduate to the point of allowing our children to be able to make the decision. It doesn't matter, to go through it, and allow life itself to give them their own experience. You don't force your experience, particularly the tragic ones, or just because you want to protect, you want to prevent certain things from happening. We get it that your parents, you need to protect your child and all of those things, but no, but certain things you have to allow the children to go through their own experiences. Their life has already pre-programmed for them to go through. So you cannot just stop them from doing such things. So that is one of the things that, the man, the chief, the commander in chief, was trying to stop, the daughter from actually doing, without even knowing that she was chosen and was always drawn to that thing, is always preventing. It's just like your talent versus what your parents want you to do, something you love doing versus what your parents want you to do. They enforce these things on you, but in actuality, this is what you want. And particularly the African parents, they might, oh, I want you to be a doctor because it's a trend in Africa. I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, but you want to be a musician, you want to be something else, but they're enforcing these things, whereas you love what you truly were made to do. And when they enforce this thing and you deviate and go and become a doctor, you see you lack passion, you don't have love, and that's why you see a lot of things are not aligning well. So we must allow our children to make certain decisions and go through experiences themselves. It is literally very important. But moving on, let's talk about the spell, because currently now the Black women globally, they are all in spell, right? You don't need, none of us, not just the Black women, but the Black women and the Black men, none of us know who we were. We don't know who we were. And the reason for that is because the people of the other beings, because like I said before, we are the only true humans. When I always use the word humans, I'm specifically talking about Black people. Now, this is a fact. You can go and do your own research and check what we are talking about, right? So we are the only humans. So whenever I mention the word humans, I'm talking about Black people, right? Now, what has happened is that the other beings, by other beings I mean white people, what they've done is that they've destroyed everything that will make sure that we recall and remember who we were. And they've hidden every trace evidence, everything that will make you remember who you were. And remembering who you were is literally very important for you to come back to this place of, where you ought to be, so that you can actually lead and become that thing you were before. So they are afraid of who you were before, because when you come to self-consciousness, actualization of who you truly are, it is going to be a shift. It's going to be a change. Our planet will be saved. Our planet will be saved, because currently, like I said, we're all in spell, right? We can't remember. We just cannot remember who we truly are. We can't. Now, the Black woman is very, very angry. This actually is a fact. Judging again, let me bring up that a movie that you were talking about, Moana, right? Now, if you depict the movie, the place where you see that she was actually transformed when the demigod actually removed the heart, right? Remove the heart. She was actually transformed. The spell came all over her, and then she became this woman of. She was very angry. She everything, and she was very destructive. Now, you can see that when you're talking about the war between the man and the woman, the woman, the black god, who happens to be the woman, does not really hate or any of those things. It does not hate the black man. It doesn't, because the black man is also a god. Do you understand? Because a god cannot give birth to, cannot reproduce anything outside a god. Do you understand? So now you see that whatever that has to do with the black woman is always destructive. And this is the high frequency of energy. It is very, very important. It is the high frequency of energy. So she's destroying, she's angry because why? She's been misplaced and she's not in her place. And things ain't going on okay. And things are not working the way it's supposed to work anymore. And you look at our planet, as we are talking today, our planet needs help. Our planet needs to be safe, and who is going to save our planet? You see the earthquakes that's happening, you see the climate change, you see a whole bunch of things that is happening. You see nature is far from the planet. Nature is gone. I mean, you hardly can see real nature. Everything is just dry. Things are not the same anymore. Why? Because the black woman is not in her position. She has been, displaced. You talked about the metric system that was actually changed to the patriotic system. These are things that needs to come back to, they need to reinstall these things. It has to come back. And again, the black man has to realize and recognize, just like the demigod did. Now, I'm going to talk the staff, the staff that, he actually lost, he was holding. Now, let me come back to Nigeria, right? Because it's not far-fetched, right? In Nigeria, of course, if you look at the chief, the obas, the kings, all of these things, you see that they're holding, they have staff. They have staff in their hands. They always hold staff and all of those things now. Now, but you see, but recently, of course, with this protest that is actually going on, the protesters, they actually, they took the staff away from the chief and all of those things, and they were, he ran for his life. You see, the staff is no longer powerful. The staff has no power, because the staff used to have power, but why is it no longer powerful? Because it is now a patriotic system. You need the woman to restore the power of the staff, to restore the power, to give you back the power and authority of the staff. You see, the black man is being displaced. Why? Because you displaced the black woman. That's what happened. You, first of all, you displaced the black woman. So how can we, and now our planet is being destroyed by the anger of the black woman, unless she comes back to her place and her position, for this spell to be truly, truly gone. And that has to do with her remembering who she were before and who she truly is. And how can you do that? She must be able, it has to do with the high frequency of energy, her consciousness. The consciousness is literally very important. That's why I always talk about a conscious mind. A conscious mind is very, very important for us to be able to remember. It is important that we remember who we were before, our place. We forget. We have forgotten everything. Everything. We don't know ourselves. We don't know who we were before. Listen, it's huge. It's big. This is not a small thing. So, Brother Takunda, please, can you please tell us how we can be able to cast, how can we, the spell, how can we remove the spell, and for the black woman to be able to come back to her place, of leadership. And because right now the planet is actually waiting for the black woman to take back her position so that she can actually save her planet, because the planet is, is dying. Soon what is going to happen is that you begin to see beings and things that you've not seen before from the sky, among us, because I told you our planet is already invaded by these other beings, aliens, many of these things. So soon you begin to see strange things will begin to happen. And if you're not tuned to the earth, because the black woman, the black people must be tuned. You must be tuned to the earth. And it's very important. So, Brother Takunda, please tell us how
Yeah.
the black woman can come back. This, first of all, the spell needs to be cast out, and she taking back her place and the timing.
Yeah. Thank you. So the most important thing that the melanated woman she needs to do to take her place is you need to go back to nature. I always advise that, to go like true African spirituality. And also as well, I think also as men, we must come also to a realization that we were wrong. I know we got convicted. When you are given a wrong conviction also as well, it's not only also about the melanated woman, because this is the end game. So we need also to acknowledge the melanated woman, so that we can support her, so that she can able to regain her strength, to regain her leadership role, because it's very so important. Because his leadership role, it gives us access to nature. It gives us access to everything. Without that, believe me, even the planet, it does not obey what we do. I know particularly like in our culture, my ancestors, my forefathers, especially my grandfather, when he wanted to go to his hometown, which is 3,000 kilometers away, he didn't use a bus or walk by foot or use a donkey. He would just get into the house and vanish. I know it sounds magical, because the nature could obey him. But now, because this religion and everything, it came, we lost our way. We began to lose our way. So everything, all hope is not lost, but we need to come to the realization. I know we are so convicted. We think we are right when we are saying the woman, she's a god with a small letter G, and then I'm a god with a small letter B. No, it's not about that. It's about recognizing, acknowledging the power, the force, the energy of creation. We can't do without it. It's very so important, because we need to come to that realization and then to have that same conscious mind level, so that we can move in the same frequency level. When we move in the same frequency level, in agreement and also in acknowledgement that also she need help to be restored into a right position, so that we can, it's for our own good. It's for our own good. I know I have read so many thousands of books, believe me, try to disagree with this point, but believe me, it always led me to the same thing. I've studied, actually, for this past lockdown, I was studying all the religions. They lead to the same thing. It's just one or two or three things that were filtered there. So we need to do that. Also, it's very so important for her to go to the right place. So the first thing, like I always say, is to go back to nature. Go back to our African spirituality. That is the most important thing, because it will remind us who we are. And then I know, because the planet, people, they might say it's climate change, it's what? No, it's not climate change. It's the universe now. It's now sick and tired of this patriarch system that we were given into. I know as men we are benefiting from this, but it's about time now that we recognize the wrong that we allowed by our prideful, and we thought we were doing what is right. You see, we thought we were doing what is right. It's like we now have the crown, but the crown is no longer have the jewel. It's no longer have the power to command anything. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Those who don't agree, unfortunately, this is what has been coming in my vision. You will reincarnate and repeat this grade. you reincarnate and repeat this grade.
Right.
We manipulate, yeah.
Right. So going forward, before we come back to our spirituality, because you talked about us going back to nature and going back to our spirituality. In addition to that, also we need to come back to depending on our ancient health system, right? Which is part of the reason why, a lot of things are, we'll talk about our DNA as well. Our DNA has been tampered with, right? So we will be, but moving on, there's going to be a great war that is coming, to our planet. Of course, this is no news. It is something that for those who are spiritually inclined, you're pretty much aware that something serious is coming, and it's going to be really, really destructive. It's going to be really destructive, right? It's coming against humans, like I said before. Humans, by humans I mean Black people, right? But for humans, Black people, to succeed or win, they have to be in tune with the planet. This is what I've stated before. They have to be in tune with the planet. You see, and everything that they say to the planet will obey. The planet will obey and preserve itself against those other beings. It is really very important, because you see, the planet, the God, she is the one who created, the planet. The planet is her planet. So for these other beings to come and destroy, because they're coming to destroy the planet, coming to destroy us humans. So, but, first of all, we need to know ourselves before we can get in tune with the planet. We need to remember who we were before. And sooner or later, you're going to be seen in the news again, because, of course, we already know about these things, but sooner or later, you're going to be hearing again. These things will be coming up, particularly in mainstream media, right? The sunspot activities being on the increase, right? Solar activities, all types of, energies from the sun that will be very, harmful that will be very harmful, right? You begin to hear these type of things, ultraviolet, light, like burning tissues and, molecules, right? Affecting the blood and skin of people on planet Earth. But all of these will not, affect humans. And by humans, I mean Black people. Of course, like, I did a video about the Amadioha. I talked about the Rishas and all of these people, right? Gus. And I talked about us being children of the sun. We came from the sun. We are children of the sun. So if you have not watched that video, please go ahead and watch that video, right? But these, all of these things, will not affect humans, melanated people, right? It will not affect them, right? So what is going to happen is that it will only make you darker. It only make you darker with a glowing melanin, which will make you more powerful. As the other beings, other race of people who are not actually humans, right? They will get this cancer. Of course, it always is something that you've been hearing it. They'll be having this cancer, this cancer of the skin and gland. Humans, on the other hand, what's going to happen is that they're going to throw away these frequencies of energy that are not good, thereby reconnecting the DNA molecules that were separated, because we once had 12 strands of DNA, but now we have just 2. You see, now we have just 2. But so how can we function as an advanced God when we don't even have the right hook? This is very important, it's really very important, because for us to function and be in that, advanced, place, frequency, we need to have Because first of all, our DNA has been tampered with. We used to have 12, now it's 2. And now even the 2, all of these things is been separated. But something is going to happen. Something is going to happen because that is going to start, reconnecting all of this DNA back to itself. Something is really going to happen. And for that to actually happen, the melanated people, you must be in tune with planet Earth. You must come to your self-consciousness, and begin to think, to remember who you truly are as a people, because we don't even know who we are. And in remembering who we were before is very important, because one, we don't have any traces of what we can use to actually pinpoint what or who we were before. Why? Because it was totally obliterated by this other race and beings. They are hiding every evidence, everything that will make us to start, remembering who we were before. So when that happens, you're going to see a change in the universe, a change in the planet, a change in so many things that is going to happen. And now let me say this, you won't have to worry. The melanated people, listen to this now. You will not have to worry about AKA, AK-47, or whatever thing they call all of those things, you see. Or you wouldn't have to worry about the shooting up. You will not have to worry shooting up your oppressors and all of those things. Talking about, no, you don't need none of that. You don't need all of that. You will begin to carry powers. You see, powers that can stop the AKA. You see, from penetrating or from touching you, because these things you have these powers inside of you, but you don't know, and you don't know who you are. You need to be in tune with your planet, you see. And you need, again, a health system, traditional way of life, all of these things, our food, a lot of things that we need to go back to for us to be able to win this battle, because we are at war, a very big one, you see. So you can cause earthquake. I want melanated people to understand these things. You can actually cause earthquake. You can actually, make fire come down from the sky. All of these things, these are things that you were doing. It was nothing serious. These were things that you were doing before, but you can't remember. You don't know how to. You don't know who you are. Who you are today is what was beaten into you. And what, this is not you, because you were, this is a lie. Who we are today is a lie. It's not the original us. This is not who we are. Our names, starting with our names, that was changed, starting with our realities, that was changed, starting with a whole lot of things. Our food, everything was literally changed. Health system, a lot of things were changed. So these things constitute in us not remembering who we actually were before. So it is important that we know who we were. So in doing so, one of the things that, a lot of information, we will not bring it here. It's going to be on the solution code. It's not going to be here, you see. It's really not going to be here. So first, the thing is that the consciousness, the high frequency of energy, that we give this consciousness, because our pineal gland, all of these things, the eyes, the third eyes, it needs to be open for you to actually know who you are. You see, you will begin to communicate with your ancestral beings that they termed as angels. These are black ancestral beings. We'll be talking about these ancestral beings, in our next, topic, not next, but we're talking about covering these issues, right? So you begin to communicate, you will begin to things that you were not able to do, you begin to start doing it and tapping into that high energy, because you need to be on that level for you to be able to know who you are, who you were before. You see, your
I think we
third
lost it. Okay.
eyes must be open for you to be able to. Please go ahead.
No. I
Brother
thought I
Takonda,
lost
can
you
you hear?
because you were. I can hear you. I was seeing you cutting. So I was about to jump in so that I can able to. But anyway, you can continue. I was seeing you cutting, but you're okay. You're back. Yeah.
All right. So we have to be on that frequency. You see, we've already talked about the orishas. We've talked about all of these things. Now, we all need to come together to acknowledge certain of these things, because for many of these people, because some of the women and some of the men, that sometimes I see them in the comment section. What they normally do is they say, of course, they've said all sort of things. This is the bashing channel of the black men against the women. Listen, facts. There is difference between your feelings, emotions, and what you want to hear, what you want to listen to, the type of things that it suits your ears, and facts and truth. There is two different things. So the fact that you want all these good things, there is nothing wrong with the black man and the black woman being, that's even what we want. Be working together, doing things in unison, coming back to that place of harmony. But how can that even happen when the black woman is displaced, when the black woman is not in her place, when the black woman is angry, she's destroying things? I will be talking about your tears as a black woman, because you must know how to use your tears, for why are you laughing? You must be able to know how
I
to
know
use
that. I know that one.
for the right cause, because some of you, what you do is that you waste your tears. I was wasting my tears for God knows how long, but you must be able to know how to use your tears and bring forth, and change things. And how can you do that? Because there is power in your tears. These things are not just there for you to just be crying, wasting your emotions. These are negative energies that you're releasing to the universe. But you can use your tears, and actually channel it to the universe. You see? And the universe, whatever you say at that point, responds. You see? Responds to you, and it will happen. Trust it. So for the black women, you must stop wasting your tears. You must stop wasting your tears. Your tears are very, very powerful. Do you understand?
And your emotions, and
your
your
emotions
thoughts.
and your thoughts, right? So for you to come to self-realization, consciousness, and all of these things, so remember, because it has to do with remembering who we were before. Because every evidence that could have made us to remember or pinpoint what it's no longer there. But you have it inside of you, your ability to do this. And how can you do? You must shut your ears, shut it against the how's it called, this world. Because everything truth is a lie in this world. Everything is turned upside down. Everything truth is a lie. And they are the propaganda that they are pushing. They are pushing distractions. That's what they're pushing. They want you to be totally distracted so that you will never know who you are. Never. They bring all sort of things. They bring comfort, to you. They make, give you all this life, this type of life, this is not the real life. It is just so fake. It is just so fake. So the more you keep living this fake, we are living on this fake life, all these things we are seeing, take a look at the climate. Just take a look at the climate. The climate has changed. They've been talking about climate change, all of these things you see. Even the cloud is not the same. It's not this thing you're seeing here. I don't think it is. It is something is covering the cloud. This is not, this is a whole lot of things is actually happening. You see? So we must be able, you must be able to shut these ears. You shut it against this earth, this noise, because everything that you see that is coming, these energies, they are coming to drag your energy. They're coming to drag all of this, and as they're taking and dragging so much and everything away from you, what is happening is that you are sleeping. And it is going to be, and also the health system, they're injecting the Black woman with so many things that you cannot even come to the point of remembering or who you were before, or to know who you are. All of these things is by design. It's all by design. Now, the pandemic that is even happening currently, because I talked about everything is about timing. It's about timing. There's nothing in this planet or in this world that is a mistake. The people that came to your life the time that they should have come to your life. There is no mistake. No mistake. You see? Now, what is happening is that we have to be able to separate ourselves from this world, you see, and be able to begin to start to, these things will go in details, only in the solution code, because there are certain things we cannot say online. Trust it. It's really informative. It's something that we just cannot say it online like this. That is why I said, please join the solution code. It's for our own benefit. It's for our own benefit. And mind you, let me use myself now. I just want to put this a little so that you will understand that you're mentally, you will be prepared for some of these things. You see, I'm using myself now, for instance. You see, now currently what I am battling with, what I'm battling with is the ability to hold this information that is being given. What is happening is that they are coming to they are snatching this once the information is coming and you're bringing it, because the ancestors, let me use the ancestors, they're giving you this information, and you must be able to speak with your ancestors. When I mean speak with your ancestors one-on-one, you speak with them. These are things you would these are things that are, don't think that it is possible. It is possible. You see, you must be able to speak with your ancestors. And the black ancestral beings that is termed as angels and all of these things, you must be tuned. You see, so what they are doing now, these other beings, what they are doing is that they are targeting our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is very important, so that we will never remember who we were and who we are. So what they do, they steal this information that the ancestors are bringing, they snatch it, they steal it, and they are now fighting to wipe off my memory. This is what they want to do. You see, this is what they are trying to do, targeting this information. So I don't want to, I'm not saying this thing to scare anybody, but but I'm just putting, this is just a piece of the information, or a little thing that you should just get to understand, because we are in a spiritual battle. Why? Because we are spiritual beings. We are the only set of people that have a soul. You see, the only set of people that have a soul is us, the black people. So you must be able to understand these things and be ready for a lot of things. So the pandemic that they brought so quickly, it wasn't supposed to come this quick. Why? Because they wanted something strange happened that they didn't expect, you see, to happen. So there was confusion among them. They didn't know how to stop it, that has to do with the melanated people. They didn't know how to stop it, because the melanated people are not trying to reconnect, and that connection is very important. If that happens, it will destroy a lot of things. It will destroy it will make us to come back to our conscious mind. But during the pandemic, there was an increase in consciousness, which was a mistake on their own side, because they thought that we'll be distracted, we'll be afraid, we'll be running helter-skelter. Our mind, it is the other way around. We started for information. We started looking for, trying to reconnect, and know who we are, and tune to the universe. So you see, so now they will pay for this timing that is not right, that they brought this, whatever thing they're bringing. And the vaccine they're about to give is for the Black people, particularly for the Black people, so that you can go back to sleep and sleep forever, that you will never, ever remember who you are. You will never. So you see, so these things are very, very important. Your conscious mind is very important, because that is their great targeting your conscious mind. You see, it is very important. So, Brother Takunda, let's talk about restoration and the Black. Okay, you've actually talked about the Black man and his role, and I want you to talk about the role of the Black man after the because, so that for them to see what will happen and how they will come back to their own, place of honor, and respect will come back, because the Black man, you can never do anything. You can never be anything outside of the Black woman, because that's your God, right? You can never be anything outside of the Black woman. No matter how hard you try, every other race of people will shit on you, mash on you. You will always remain weak. Why? Because your God is weak, and she's under a spell, and she's angry, and she's destroying. I talked about Oshun. I talked about a whole bunch of these things. These are things that are happening in the metrotic system. The Black man has to submit to the metrotic system. It has to happen for you to come back to your position. So, Brother Takunda, please enlighten us more on that, and restoration, and what is going to happen after the Black woman come back to her place of leadership, power, and all. But let's start with the Black man now.
Yeah, actually, it's so important. Especially when the man, we need to come to the realization that when we admit this to ourselves, when we start recognizing this, when we start acknowledging this, actually we begin. I was talking to one guy who is like a friend. He's from another culture. We will be able to. You were saying something that is very interesting. Saying we'll be able to go in the streets when they try to shoot you, the bullet won't penetrate you. I know It sounds like magic. It sounds like witchcraft. No, it's not witchcraft. Those things to our ancestors, because they knew themselves, it was normality. It was a way of living. We could able to vanish the whole planet. We could maybe able to do all those things. We need to come to that realization. We could able to do all those things that actually they could do them with technology. We could also do it with the power of our mind and our thoughts. We need to also realize that we have memory in us. We don't just exist like, okay, you are 50 years or you are 90 years. No, we are billions and billions and billions of years old through our souls. We are billions and billions of years old. And we are the only set of beings, people, that our soul can multiply trillions and trillions. Trillions and trillions. It's more than 700 trillion times. So we need to understand our power. We need to acknowledge the wrong. We need to acknowledge the wrong that we did. So it's so important. So I know it was so interesting when she was saying, it was so funny, but actually it is the truth. They actually shit on you when you don't recognize who you are, when you don't come to your true senses. So it's so important. It's so vital. So I was now a student in class. Nevertheless, I never thought this day will come where I will sit and be humbled. But but yeah, here we go. It came. But yeah, we need to be able to do that, to restore ourselves to that position. You know, it might sound magical. We're able to rescue ourselves. We cannot. I understood one brother said we have to fight their ways. No, we don't fight with nuclear power bombs. We don't fight with machine guns. We don't fight with technology, because we are the universe. But how do we respect how do you have to respect the head? You have to respect the source of creation. You have to respect the energy that made everything to become being, which is the woman.
Right. You know, a lot of women, a lot of women, I mean, Black women, of course, you know, they literally love to be the neck. You know, they always want to be the neck. Even if you tell them you're the head, you're supposed to be on the top of the pyramid, they'll say, I want to be at the bottom. I want to be the neck or something. I want to be all of these things. You know, they keep repeating these things, you know, not even making an attempt to wanting to know who truly you were as a person. The fact that certain of this modern day culture, because a lot of the African culture and tradition must be reviewed. It has to be reviewed because this culture and tradition, it is modern. It came into as a result of default. Not all of them, but majority of them came into as a default. You see, now for our Black men, listen, there is no hatred. It's just that something went wrong. The Black men did something quite wrong. You know, there is not hatred, it's a fact. And you're under a spell. And for the spell to be broken, there are things you have to do. First, you must acknowledge your mistakes. You must acknowledge the Black woman. And the disrespect and all of these things, it must end. You have to end it. And the lies that have been taught to you for decades, of course, it is really difficult for you to get off this lie that have formed your beings, formed your thought, formed everything about you. So it is very, very important that you disease from these things. Absolutely. Because you cannot disrespect nature. You cannot disrespect nature, and you're demanding for nature. You love nature. You want all of these things. But all of these things is the woman. So how do you disrespect the whole of this, everything that you truly need? You need life. I talked about Oshun, the sweet waters. I talked about she is the one who, alongside with other Orishas, she is the one, who was able to create a lot of these things. You need water to do a lot of things. She is love. And most of the Black men, they are looking for love to the point that they go outside of their race to get married. And mind you, once you do that, you have stained your DNA and, of course, your bloodline. A lot of things, a lot of what's it called now? A lot of consequences that goes alongside with getting married outside of your race. I'm not talking about that now, but I want you to understand that, these are the things you're looking for. You're looking for love. But how can you get love when you disrespect love? How can you look for love, get love when you oppress love? You cannot oppress, because the love is very sensitive to insult, very sensitive to disrespect. How do you disrespect love, look down on love, say all sort of things to love? Love is out of the planet. Oshun left, because of the abuse and disrespect and all of those things. So think about it for a moment. Why do you have to suppress something for you to prove a point? For instance, now, the Black woman, particularly in many African traditions, you see, you have to suppress the woman. You said the woman don't have to do this, don't have to do this. Who are the people that set up all these rules, regulation, culture, tradition, all of these things, you say? And they always, who are the people that are talking about, in the ancient time, our culture and our tradition? Our culture and our tradition, it was changed. Most of the African oracles used to be women, and they were the ones who actually write the laws, the rules, the regulation of how the nation and the society should work. Just like the government, the constitution, were written by women. because they were in charge and it was their roles as the oracles to do these things. You see, but it was now changed and everything now was blamed on the woman. You have to be humble. You have to be the one that will do a whole lot of things. Humility attracts humility. For the black men, you are saying you're the head. You say you're this, you're all of these things, but you lack humility and you don't ever lead by examples. How do you expect the woman to follow you when you say you are the head, you're everything, but you're not humble? You lack respect. You lack respect, but you want the black woman, you want the woman to respect you. It doesn't work that way. Leadership is by example. Today we are complaining about the puppet rulers in Africa. They are everything, but not leaders. They are everything, but not leaders. You see why? They're very arrogant. They lack respect. A lot of things they lack leadership qualities. So many of the black men, you must develop patience. You must have a lot of all these qualities. It's not the quality of the woman. The society beat this bad habit, I should call it bad habit, into you. And now it became the norm because it favors you. And sometimes, when I'm talking about this topic now, what happens is that many of the black men, they feel threatened because their power is about to be touched. Their ego is about to be touched. And they don't want that. Why? How do you suppress something? You cannot suppress a God. You can only do that. It will last, for a while. But all of it, when it comes to the point where it couldn't take it anymore, because nature itself is the God, and nature will begin to work against all of this oppression, all of these things.
Nature will begin to fight back.
Nature will begin to fight back. You see, nature will fight back. So you should begin to look at these things. You do not need to force any woman to respect you, to force any woman to do all of these things. When she sees that this is who you are, I believe she will copy. Why? Because you're leading by examples. I thought that was how leadership is supposed to be, by examples, not by mere words. I don't follow the words of people. I look at your actions and your attitude and the things that you do. You see, the things that you stand for, your convictions. These are very important. So what you're saying to me, I'm looking if it is aligning with your actions. Because if it's not in the same parallel, then it means that, it is absolutely nothing. So you can't suppress something. Anything you suppress is higher than you. Whatever thing you suppress forcefully is higher than you. So what are you afraid of? By suppressing the black woman and making her subjecting her to a whole bunch of things. It means that she's definitely the God and she's higher than you. So for you to be able to prove your point with your muscles that you've gone to the gym to bring out your chest in your muscles and all of it.
I have to laugh. I couldn't.
Oh my God. You go and you bring out your chest, all is for the black woman. Why do you have to go and use iron, all of these things to bring out their chest? Ancient African men, they didn't have to go to the gym. They naturally have all of these muscles, because they do normal job, normal activities that they do. But today, machines have replaced all of these things. They call it technology. But you're doing all these things is for the black woman. How did you end up in a position where you have now started beating your black woman? How did we get into this point? How did we do that? Start talking back, disrespecting, doing all of these things. You see, the black woman conceived the black man without the sperm of a black man. Please understand these things. The black woman gave birth to the black man and to the woman and man without the sperm of a man. Do you understand? They didn't need your sperm to give birth because they are reproduction themselves. A man cannot reproduce anything. You cannot reproduce. So the whole bullshit story about Adam, that the woman came out of the rib of, is just a bullshit. First of all, the man cannot reproduce without even the woman. But the woman has the ability to reproduce without the man. She has that ability. Have you heard about the virgin birth? Virgins do give birth. So that whole story of Mary, giving birth through the Holy Spirit. Somebody please spare me all, spare me all of the stories.
Of this, yeah, it is a buffoon story that people, you even see people with degrees and doctrine and believing that, but actually when you go in history, there are so many star seeds, so many people who were given without an intercourse, without, and it's very funny that how people were, how we became. I always ask myself, how did we become convicted and believe it with our full fiber, with our bones? And then when I saw that movie, that's when I saw that, you know what, we were so into convinced that our DNA and our 12 chakras, it was so broken, whereby we end up doing things that we end up believing that we are doing what is right. Actually, we are doing what is wrong. You see, yeah. So to be honest, it is a crap story. I always say a longest fake orgasm. A longest. I don't know how can I put it. How can I demonstrate? So we need to get out of that position so that we can able to tame to the terms and realization. And also, I always advise, even when you just learn to translate those ancient texts, you'll be so amazed that they don't even mean the things that. It's more like maybe it was translated properly, maybe about, let me just say, maybe 50% of it, but the majority of it, they put it some crap words out of it. So yeah, there's no such thing. There's no such a woman who came out of a rib of a man. I was just saying this to my friend, and when he's editing here, he was telling me, he reminded me, he's the one who reminded me. He said, long time ago, they say men, they were polygamists. No, actually the woman, she was the one that she was deciding to find another mate, another younger wife for her husband. It was never the man going out to go and find a woman. It was never like that. This is one thing that I would say, my brothers, today. No, it was the woman, the melanated woman. She was going out to find a woman and bring in the house as a younger wife. But she was the matriarch as the first wife. She was the one who was making decision. So that is one thing that people, they need to understand, that I think we said it before. So we must also know that it's not that African people, we were polygamist and what. No. The woman, she was deciding, you know what, she was deciding by herself, no, I need to find another mate for my helper.
Okay, so let's touch a little bit on feminists, because not literally feminists, because I've heard many men who've always, they call the Black woman feminist just because the Black woman, of course, majority of the Black women are coming back to self-realization and who they truly are as a people. And now it seems like a threat, and they're calling it Eurocentric. You see, I'm hearing feedback.
Yeah. Can you hear me? You have a feedback?
Yeah, I'm having feedback.
Okay, let me do this.
Right. Okay. So, they are saying that feminism has to do with Eurocentric and all of these things. So white women pushing this agenda because they wanted the men to do certain things, for them. They want to have some certain sort of equal right and all of those things. Again, why should any human be oppressed or be controlled and be, subjected, oppressed by other people, and you make decisions for them? You tell them what to do, what not to do. You write all of these laws, you say, you tell them how to dress, you tell them how to talk, you tell them what and what to do. And it's only going to happen for a while, but it's not going to, because in the first place, you're not supposed to do that. You cannot suppress. You cannot. It's just impossible for you to do that. You see. So now, please address, when it comes to the African or the Black melanated women, please address this whole concept, because I normally see lots of Black men They always state in some shows, oh, the black women, they've changed, they're acting white now, they're not
He's
feminist,
angry.
she's angry, pushing this
Yeah.
agenda of feminism on the Africans are not feminists, they are not this. But these are people who don't even know the African history. These are people who do not even know, some of them, they know the African history from a Eurocentric perspective, you see. So they come with all of this, some of these fairy tales about not really knowing who the African women. Have you seen ancient African women before? Have you seen them? They look like giants. Have you seen them? They are very tall, masculine. They look like giants. The same thing with the African men. Some of
The
them are
Tutani
giants,
women, even the great Amazons, the ones that they have put them into movies. Those
right? They are
they were
the tallest.
melanated women. Yeah.
Tallest
Yes.
on the planet. They are just the tallest. Have you seen them before? Not this, because our DNA was tempered with, and a lot of things that has transpired so far with us. That's why we are giving birth to this type of average, children, all of this. A
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
things
Yes.
has gone wrong with
Mm.
us.
It's
When we hit the spiritual aspect, we're talking about proper healing, the process, because healing, you must heal in the right process. You must heal through the right process. You just cannot say healing. Oh, we are healing. We are going to heal, and then boom, you're doing. No, there's a process and a pattern you have to follow. You have to heal thoroughly. That is what we truly need so that we can be able to know ourselves and come back to self actualization, because that is the greatest threat of other beings, by other beings, non-humans,
and
non-human.
it's very funny. Here in Zimbabwe, we have she was a queen. I think she was a queen. We call him Buyanehanda. I think when you go on the internet, you'll find the story. When the colonialists approached Zimbabwe, actually all the men gave up. They received a quote unquote Jesus salvation, and she's the only one. She said, I will not receive your foreign gods. And then when they're about to kill him, he told the colonialists, he said, my bones and my spirit will rise again, and I will fight you through my descendants. You might kill me today, but my bones will rise. Whereby they had to cut off his body, they left his body, and then they took his head, because they never saw a daring woman in their country. They were so surprised in Africa what type of this woman. That's when the colonization of Zimbabwe started, when they defeated. And also, it is the sad part of it. It is the men who sold him to the colonialists. That is the most sad part of it. Otherwise, if men, they didn't betray this woman, this Mbuyanehanda, he was the spiritual leader, he was the oracle woman, he was the princess, he was the queen of the Munomotapa Empire. Actually, they had to sell him off, but he warned the colonialists. Even today, by today, we were demanding his skeleton, his head. They are still refusing. It's in the palace of the queen, even we speak today.
Which queen?
So the Queen of England today. It's in the British palace even today. They are refusing with a scowl, because we needed to put that head to rest. So this is where I see that, like I always say, like I also have this conviction that as men, we need to understand you can never suppress something that is lower than you. You can never suppress something that is behind you. You always suppress something that you feel that it's threatening your power, that you feel like it's threatening your privilege. That's when you're able to suppress. I believe that we need to come to the realization, to the end age of creation, to their leadership, because it's a mess. It is a mess. Look at the Amazon women. There are so many stories that women, they stood with time. I remember one president, he said, when we cry, normally I don't cry in the name of Father if I get injured or if I fell down the tree. I cry in the name of Mother, in the name of the mother. I say, Mama! I will never cry, say, Papa! Because the father sometimes he's not there when you are being raised. So all those things, we need to come to the realization so that we can find this proper healing. We need to come to this actual realization, to our conscious mind, to come to accepting the mistake that we did to this melanated woman. I believe that we took the gem heart, out of our selfishness. We think that we're gonna do the creation by ourselves. But I think we have realized that for thousands and thousands of years, we have failed to use the energy of creation because we don't have it in us. So I think we need to restore that gemstone. We need to allow the woman. I think the heart is being restored as you are speaking today. I know those who want to listen, they will listen. Your truth and my truth might not be their truth, but we have the cosmic truth. We have the truth of the universal creator. So it's up to them to decide it. But I think nature speaks for itself. If they search it on nature, if they go quiet in the trees, they'll acknowledge this truth that we are speaking today. So all those things, so that we can find proper healing. I do think some other solutions, so the real solution, I know we can't put them on the platform because that's what also endangers us. When the colonials, these people came in our presence, we begin to expose our secret, our spiritual life, and then that's when they were able to invade us. They didn't just come one day; they came as friends. If they saw that the knowledge of the creation, they will come as volunteers. They will come as people who want to stay, and then they will mingle with you. They will come into your region. So we need to come to that realization that we need to restore the goddess in her place. She's the source of creation, so that also we can have our one. So that we cannot have the ivory horn without no power. That's why now they can able to snatch it in the hands of the chief and nothing happens. You see, it's so embarrassing when you say that. I could picture it. It's so really embarrassing.
It's quite embarrassing because what has happened over the years. Because when Black men, they're always talking about certain things, they should analyze with the things that is happening around them, because you see that many of them who are just talking, so they're not spiritually inclined, and they're very much blinded. Their eyes, their pineal gland, these eyes, this third eyes is really, really is closed. It's only open to this lie of a world, this fake world, artificial world that we are actually living, because this is not the type of life or way we are supposed to be living, right? We are just living as dummies under a spell or something, right? So, but for true changes to really happen, the Black man must come to the realization and acknowledge the Black woman, because for the staff to be restored back to you, or new staff or whatever thing that it has authority, it has power. Everything you are looking outside of the Black woman is what she absolutely can give to you. You can't get it outside. It's not possible they can get these things outside, right? So it's within the Black woman to give you these things, but she, it's like the flame of fire that is burning, all over her body. You see, that is really destructive. Look at the world that we're living at, right? It's been destroyed, and this is the anger, as a result of the anger, the tears, and all of these things of the Black woman, right? So she can actually restore and save our planet. That's why I'm saying that, Black men, please, you have to come to the realization, and you must step down. By stepping down, your ego, you have to step it down. Your disrespect, put it in toilets and flush it. It's not needed. All of those dirty qualities that were actually beaten into you or that you acquired as a result of pride, you see, it has to be broken. You see the position you are currently on the planet and in the world. You see the level that you are at the bottom of the pyramid. Why? Because the black woman, you place the black woman and reduce her to the bottom of the pyramid. She's supposed to be at the top. If she is at the top, definitely she will raise you to the top where you should have been, and so that the world can actually respect you as a black man and honor you, coming back to who you truly were before. But you cannot have all of this, and those are the things you seek for. Look at yourself, how powerful you are. Look at yourself, how mighty and big you are. But how are you so little before the Chinese that they're just like this? How is it even possible? You see, naturally you have all these things, but you see, you cannot even be, you can't do anything because your power is gone. It's absolutely gone, and only the black woman can restore you to your place. You see, it has to do with consciousness. Consciousness. So now let's quickly talk about what is going to happen when the black woman comes back to her place of
Yes.
leadership and honor. So let's talk about that.
It is very so important, as I think you hinted this, you touched on this. We must understand as melanated people, we have what is called, actually the world might think there is 7 chakras. No, we have actually 12 chakras. 12 chakras, that when we begin to acknowledge this energy of force, the force of creation, we can able to regain our strength, our 12 strings of DNA. Our 12 strings of DNA. I remember I would acknowledge you to go, maybe recommend you to watch Credo Muto's video. It's something that he even admitted when he was going through his initiation process. And also I love the video that you posted on YouTube, African Unite, when he was saying we might have loud noise, but the world will be in a better place when the melanated woman, she is restored in her position. We are talking about a person who has experienced the cosmos. So he said when he was going through under initiation, he went into
That's Credo Mutwa.
Yes, that's Credo Mutwa. He went into a state of astral projecting, and then he met this tall goddess, Tifiti Ashun. And then that's when she met him, this woman, she was saying, look at how the universe, look at how the planet it is. Because she was like crying, like, look at how the planet is. She gave him a task, like, please go and restore it. Unfortunately, when she gave him a task, only the people from other nations, they're the ones who were acknowledging him because they knew the truth. When I saw his video long time ago, actually, I said, I treated him like a witch doctor because I was also ignorant. It's only now, like 2 years back, that's when I began to listen to what he was saying. He said this woman gave him something to drink, and then suddenly his DNA was restored. When he woke up, the woman, actually, she was initiating him into this Solus, into this cosmic scientist. I wouldn't want to call him traditionalist scientist, into fill the whole cosmos. She could able to hear voices, people who reincarnated, who went into other cosmos so happily. He could able to hear everything, but it only came when he began to acknowledge. You are talking about somebody who was 100, and he died 90 something years. So who we are as men, somebody who could speak with nature, somebody who could call dolphins, somebody who could call a lion, who could talk to lion. Credo Muto used to do all those things. So it only came when he began to acknowledge the truth about the cosmos, about the force of creation, about the melanated woman. I know sometimes these words, when I, it's very surprising that I'm even spitting them into my mouth. Nevertheless, I'm saying it today, because I was raised into a conviction of saying, I'm the man. The woman was pulled out of my rib. But I'm no longer believing in that shit story, So this is the thing that we have to restore. And he was restored. Credo Mutwa, he died around 90 something years. And even scientists, people from NASA, people from army generals, people who work in secret programs, they would go in South Africa and interview him. They made tons of videos of him. They would ask him questions. He would know the tribes and so many people he went through under initiation. So we must acknowledge this, because it only came by him acknowledging the force of nature, the energy of creation, which is created everything, which is the melanated energy, the force of creation, which is a melanated woman. That's when she was restored. Actually, Credo Mutwa was restored his 12 strings of DNA. That's why he talks about the mother mind and the warrior mind, that we need the mother mind. It means the feminine energy. We cannot have it without accepting. It's like you cannot say, I accept you, but I'm going to cut the head. We need all of it. We need to swallow that pride. So what we've been doing so many years, we want the power of the universe, but we don't acknowledge the source. We don't acknowledge the creator. We don't acknowledge what brought the force of the universe. We don't acknowledge actually the key. That's the key, by acknowledging this truth, by acknowledging this fact.
And that is that is the feminist energy.
Yeah. So we need to come to that realization.
Right. So I'm going to touch a little. I'm going to touch about. Lastly, we'll close with the spirituality, because that is the whole bottom line of everything, right? So let's talk. Let's talk a bit about what will happen and how our Earth and planet is going to look like once the Black woman step into her place, her rightful place, and a place of leadership. Now, this is what is going to happen now. Now, this artificial body that you see, that the Black woman, this artificial face, artificial body, all of these things, is just like a crystal or something, right? That they use to cover her. It has to break, because this is the curse. And these are things that are hindering her from actually doing the thing, taking her replace, and doing things. And she's angry because she cannot even save the planet, because she's seen her planet is being destroyed, is being invaded. A lot of things is happening to the planet, and it has to be saved really, swiftly, very fast, because we are running out of time. Like I said, everything runs with time. The planet and humans, we deal with time. Everything is timing. So this is the right time. And what is going to happen is that when that thing breaks out, from the Black woman, you see, once that thing breaks, that anger, you will not see it, because now you see her glow in her true nature and beauty. This is not the beauty of the Black woman, this thing you see here. You see, you will see her glow in her true natural self, because this generational Black men are yet to see the real natural Black woman. You've not seen it, because this thing you're seeing here, it is not it. You see, because it is full of, it is being caved. She's caved. She needs to be, broken. So when that happens, what is going to happen is that she will give life to the earth. You will see the grass, it will grow. You will see the fruits. Everything, nature will come back to itself. Nature will take its place. It will come back to itself. Even nature itself is crying because of how these other beings invaded our planet, and they are destroying nature. They're destroying a lot of things, changing nature, calling it technology, changing a lot of things that is not, it is not tied to us, doesn't connect with us. You see, so these things are really destructive to us. It will make it will make us to be, it is making us to be a whole bunch of things that we are not. So I mean, when she comes back to her place, you will see the true, real earth and planet that we once were living on. Not this thing. This thing is really ugly. It's really ugly. This is not it, because it's been they're destroying it on a daily basis. A lot of things is going, and because of the anger of the black man, a lot of destructions, a lot of things is going on. So when she comes back in a place of love, when she comes back in her true self, you begin to see love would automatically come back to the world, to the planet, to the earth. You see productivity, you see a lot of things will change, and you see the earth, the sun, everything will be in this right. Because the sun and all of these things that is happening, we are saying now, is they've tempered with all of these things that is happening, the moon, because we could control the moon. We could control a whole of these things, but we cannot do these things anymore because we are not consciously awakened. We are not consciously awakened. So what is happening is that once she comes back to her place, these are the things that are going to happen. And once these things happen, you see, nature will begin to fight these other beings, these other things, begin to fight back.
And also, before I forget, I think we have tried this so-called, our forefathers, they have tried this so-called Pan-Africanism. They have done it. They have tried it, disincluding the real power, disincluding the real head. It has failed. This so-called Pan-Africanism we have tried, it's not our system. It's not who we are. This whole so-called Pan-Africanism, all these things, and also all these protests and everything, we have tried them. But it's now to come. I think this is the time we have to come to the realization of our true self. This is the time because we have tried both of them. And also this system, they don't work. These court systems, these Vatican systems, this so-called democracy, it's not working. It never worked for us. It's even cankering. It's even destroying us more and more. So this is how we restore ourselves. Unfortunately, this is the only way. We have to come to the realization that we need to go back to nature. We need to go back to the source. When you are lost, you have to go back to go and find yourself so that you might remember who we are. Who we are. Otherwise, we're going to keep having this amnesia, going, processing and everything, because we need to understand everything was flipped around. It was turned and flipped around. You see, we can restore our 12 strings of DNA. We can able to communicate with nature. Nature can able to obey to us.
Right.
We can able to command the waters, the ocean. The ocean is just some thousands of years ago. It became salty water. The ocean, it was fresh water. We used to have the ocean was fresh water. I was so surprised when I was researching all these things. The ocean, it used to be fresh water, but now the water is sour. You see? So we need to come to the realization of acknowledgement of the true nature of the cosmos, of the true nature, the source of creation, the source of everything that made everything to be.
Right.
We need to come to the realization.
Right. So, that is why whenever I'm talking passionately the way I'm talking, we have a lot of these, people who come to say I'm angry. I'm not angry. It's just the ancestors are speaking to you, and you have to. It's not my voice. You will listen to their voice, however they bring it to you. Because on a normal day, I don't even sound the way you see that I sound. It is just that the message that is coming I can't suppress the voice that they are speaking to you. And you will listen to them. If you don't listen to them, it is your decision. You see, nobody is going to make the decision. I cannot save our people. Then that with Brother Takunda, he has no power. I don't have the power to save any one of anybody here. Nobody. We cannot even do it. You are I can't even save my own family. He can't even save his family. We can do that. We don't have the power to do that. The only thing we can do, and that has to do with the power of your, free will to be able to decide and choose for yourself. You see, and that it has to do with and also we are looking at timing because we are trying to work with the timing because this timing is wrong, but we have to work with the right timing, the right timing that were using before. You see, that's why I said a lot of the things in this world is upside down. Upside down, everything is crazy. You see, so when you go to school, you're being indoctrinated to learn all of this system. These are demonic, evil system that will ever crush us down and we will always be down as long as we keep operating on this system. This is not a system. That is why I keep saying we have to change this system. When you want to come and tell me of the Eurocentric economies and their power, democracy, and all of these things, I said, what is democracy? What has democracy don't even work in the West? How is it going to work for us in Africa? It came into Africa as a means of default. They dethroning all our traditional rulers and kings, murdering them, and doing a whole bunch of things, forcing this democracy into us and to our people. So you see, now we will talk about the spirituality, and then we'll close with that. Because now we've touched about the problem, we talked about how you can come back to your place, we've talked about the spell, we've talked about a lot of things. But now we'll end it with the spirituality, because the spirituality, when you come back to your spirituality, a lot of things will begin to fall into place. You have certain powers that you're unable to tap into. You see, these powers you're unable to tap into. Why? Because you're still connecting with these negative energies and frequency of this world that is being released, into our planet, and they're very toxic, they're negative. So first you need to completely fully tap into this power, and this power is from within. Is the power from within, and the power of your mind and your subconscious mind and your consciousness, you see, is literally very important. So how can our spirituality help us to finding who we truly are and saving our world and bringing justice? Because listen, I have said, I am still saying, forgiveness is a sin. It is African. It is not our culture. It is not in our nature. It is not. It is not in our nature to forgive. I'm stating it. I've stated it several times. Now look again. The people who stole your pattern were the white people. They don't forgive. Now go and step on any of them toe and see if they will forgive you. They will seek justice, and that is the right way to do. That's the right thing to do. And that used to be once your method and your way and your system. But today you embrace, you hug, you laugh, you kiss, you're forgiving, you're letting go. It's mercy, say no, I'm letting go. You're seeing all of this brainwashed religious that was beaten into you, so that you can forgive your oppressors, the people that are hurting you. You see them, you just love, you just forgive. Forgiveness is justice. And there is no peace without justice. Justice comes alongside with peace. So when you're talking about we need peace, no. The thing is that once justice is served, there's going to be peace.
Yeah, I think also as well, to be honest, from the first place, if we didn't forsake who we are, we were not going to come across these problems. Like we had to deal with our enemies. The fact is, we kind of like departed from who we are. That's why we end up having this whole chaos. That's when we end up being oppressed by these other beings and everything, because we lost our ways. We end up ignoring who we are. So that's when we had to do all those things. Otherwise, our system, as you are saying, there was this whole thing whereby a person goes scot-free. When you swear on a shrine, you just go scot-free. A person goes to court on a person he killed so many people, innocent people, and then he goes to court and then he's fined non guilty. And it never worked. You see, like in this, I don't want to go there too much, but in this International Court of Arbitration, they only take former puppet leaders that they are no longer doing according to their puppet master. That's when they get to be taken there. But otherwise, even the people who created that court of arbitration, they don't even take themselves there. So we need to understand that. But anyway, it's about coming to the realization. This is, I don't want to go out of this topic. We have to come to the realization for our African ancient spirituality. That is the healing. And also going back to like connecting, also to able to, we want some of the things, we won't talk about them here, like to awaken our ancestors, to our wake, to get to be attuned to our DNA, to get to be attuned to who we are, to awaken on who we are, so that we only have to go through our African ancient spirituality. For me, to be honest, I think I have done Christianity so much. I have been in so many places. Believe me, I have paid a lot of money. It never worked. I've been in so many churches, mega churches, one-on-one with these so-called men of God, prophets. It never worked. So our ancient African spirituality, some of them, they might say, oh, our ancient African spirituality was witchcraft. No, actually, it's somebody like who has I'm going to put an example. It's somebody who has a knife. You can able to use that knife to cut vegetables or to do the work, or you can use that knife to kill people. So that's it. So our ancient African spirituality, and also as well, there was consequences when you use your African ancient spirituality to harm others. There will come another oracle person who able to deal with that person. So please, that's what I can say. This is the whole solution. That's why we are disrespected, because we disconnected from who we are. That's why we are disrespected. Because I love this thing, because it's now that energy of mothership, the energy of creation, that is now moving the sisters. Believe me, when she was talking, every time when we talk separately out of the show, she has a different tone of voice to say, this is and then I'm like, this is the person who talks with the fire. This is the person who talks with fire. Oh my God. So she said, no. She's a different person when you talk to him out of the show. It's like something in him begins to attune. The ancestors, they are speaking through him. I think it's the bones of the ancestors and the spirit of the ancestor that is angry, that made him to rise up. And also we're seeing now a lot of sisters, who are coming, who repatriated to Africa, I can see ES sister, and also, who restored us, who reminded us who we are. Believe me, without you guys, I don't wanna lie. Most of the people who reminded me who I am, to be honest, who we are, what we must supposed to do, is through meeting our Black women, our goddess. Besides that, believe me, I was not going to believe this. I was not going to waste my time and start doing this thing. That's what made me to realize who we are. So I think we need to go back to our ancient African spirituality to realize who we are, because there is consequences if we don't go back there. Because there is a Zulu word that even Credo Mutwa used to believe in. He says, Umvelingana. It means he is the beginning, he was always. Actually, in English, there is no terms that you can translate it. It cannot be translated in English. But they say, I think, let me just say it, Ashun. It cannot be translated. He's everywhere. So all those things that we must always come to the realization to who we are. We cannot change you, but it's up to you. I think we just poured the water, the sweet waters, and also the sweet pathway with gold. It's up to you to walk in that pathway, as my brothers out there. Believe me, I'm also a man. That's why I'm saying I didn't believe in that. Believe me, if you came 4 years back and tried to tell me this, believe me, I was going to push you away as a woman and say, I think you need to be delivered. And if you came 4 years ago, I was going to say, no, you need to be laid hands and be cast out this feminine. But now I'm beginning to acknowledge the truth that it's in front of me, that I have seen it. So it's up to you. So we can't do it. We cannot do like the colonialists. The colonialists came and beat us up into submitting, into believing their doctrine. We are not trying to indoctrinate anybody. We are just saying the cosmic truth, because it is the time for the truth to come out. So it's up to you to take it, because our truth, it might not be your truth, but you decide what is the truth. So that's what I can say. There are spiritual consequences. So it's high time.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Takunda. You've pretty much covered on the spiritual aspect and the consequences should we fail to do that, and come back to because again my question is, do we have any other option or better option for us to restore back our glory, restore back who we are, come back to self-realization? I do not think so. So it is only wise that having tried different pattern and method and all of these things, you see the system that wasn't a system, and many of these other things, the colonial ways, the colonial patterns, tactics, everything. It never worked. It's still not working. You can see the position and the level we are in as Black people globally, and in the continent of Africa. So you see, excuse me. So yeah, so it is high time that we do the needful, we do the right thing, and we start, to rechange and displace and replace things that used to be before, so that we can actually come back to our real position and our actual self. And you cannot do that outside of your spirituality. So I've heard many people, they have cussed out their spirituality. I've heard many people that have said a lot of things about their spirituality. I've heard a lot of people who've said so many things, you see, and they praise this other, spirituality, this other religion, because there's difference between spirituality and religion. You see, I've seen a lot of people, and I've heard, you see, you do all this yoga. You do this yoga, you see, you do the Japanese, Indian, all of this spirituality, you do all of this, and you believe in it, you do all of these things. There is something that has to do with your belief system. It is important. What forms your belief system is very important. You cannot have your belief system, if it is formed outside of your true self, then it is an enemy to itself, you see. And that is what a lot of our people are doing. You do yoga, you're doing all of this, you call it, what is it called? You're meditating. How are you meditating? And what type of meditation are you meditating? To whom are you meditating? What are you actually, do you know your ancient pattern and way of what is called, do your ancestors even meditate? And what is the way and how they did it? You see, but you go with all this narrative that is being pushed, all these other, things outside of yours. Yours is the only thing you have problem with. Yours is the only thing you have problem with. Your spirituality is the only spirituality that you have problem with. It means that something is not okay with us. It's just like you cursing yourself. The fact that I have melanin inside of me, you hate yourself. You hate your melanin. You want to be white by all means. You want to be anything but having the most precious thing that people are buying with gold and silver, with everything. That is what you're trying to. That's why you see skin bleaching off your melanin, doing a lot of things, just because of the brainwashing, because some of the brainwashing is not self-hate. It is just that they're not informed. A lot of the people not informed, you see, and they don't even know. When you don't know who you are, you see, you will be stabbing yourself, boom, 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 to take away your heart. And once your heart is gone, so what is left of you? You'll be stabbing yourself. Because why? You didn't know that your heart is very important, you see. So please, we must return back to our spirituality, and there are things that we need to do, and some of these sacrifices we need to cleanse. We need to cleanse our land. We need to cleanse our heart. We need to cleanse a lot of things that we need to do. You see, we need to make a lot of sacrifices that we have to do. You see, and some of the things, some of this process of healing that we have to do, your phone is not needed. You don't need your phone. You don't need your phone. You can't record these things and put it. It doesn't work that way. You see, so please listen to the voice of the ancestors, and only you can decide. Only you can decide. We are not forcing, like he has clearly stated. We are only telling you what we have been told, to tell you, So please make sure to like, to subscribe, and share this stream to friends and family. They should get the message. It's very important, right? They should get the message. And thank you so much for coming out to support. I truly appreciate all of you. And Brother Takunda, that was a wonderful job you've done. Thank you so much as usual. And as always, you've always been supportive. Thank you. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate you so much. And
I
we'll
appreciate you. You gave us life. You gave us life before. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you. And also, Brad Takunda, I think we should be also teaching our people about the ancestral and non-terrestrial beings, because we must be able to learn how to connect, communicate, speak, and do all of these things, with these things. And then our pineal gland, the third eyes, it has to be open, it has to be open because there's so many distractions and you cannot tune into the planet, and the universe for you to be able to get, what it can give, all of these things. And your energy is very important. So mind how what you release your energy to, right? So these negative energies that you release, do not forget that these beings, they are not humans. They've already invaded our planet. They're here. So some of them, they are wearing a mask, and the mask is the mask of melanin. So they might look like you, but they're not humans. I want you to understand that these things are real and it's facts. I'm not just saying it's a fact. You can do your own research and double check what I'm saying, you see? So please, I want you to understand that these things, are really, really existing in our world. But sooner or later, you begin to see with your eyes, and the internet will be shut down. So a lot of things, so you begin to see certain things that will begin to happen. So please, understand these things, right? So we will be teaching about all of these things, the next ancestral, not terrestrial being, the black ancestral and ancestral being, so that you begin to understand your ancestors, your true self, all of this is. So we will be bringing out this information and teaching how you can communicate and talk, when you are at that level, because it has to do with level, step by step, okay? So I thank you so much, guys, and for your support. I truly appreciate you. Please make sure to like this stream and share. Make sure to like and share, and have a wonderful day, every one of you. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Asante.
Thank you. All right.